Hello again. Today we're gonna do some more advanced tosses. If you watched the previous tutorial on the basic no-beat tosses, such as this, backwards and in forwards, then you are ready for this. Right, and this is my very favorite topic. These tosses, when I discovered these tosses, I decided to finally change from loop handles to ball handles. Because until then, I just saw people kind of tossing the poi like that, and I was like, I thought it was just like when we pretend that poi is club or staff, even though when it's not. And I saw people doing all this kind of stuff, and I was like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but I missed the flow in there. And then one day I discovered this, and I was like, wow, this feels so much like warrior style. And there's the flow, and it's very seamless, and it's just like that feeling when it goes like from back to front. It's like so cool. So I was like, okay, this is when I'm gonna change to ball handle, and I'm gonna teach you that now. So the prerequisite for that is like I mentioned, this backhand toss, or more the way to catch the poi, like from overhand position, as mentioned in the previous tutorial. So if you are catching it from under somehow like that, or like that, then you should go to the previous tutorial and learn the way to catch it correctly. So if you can do this, now all that you have to do now in order to learn this is throwing the hand from under the other hand, or just simply over from the opposite side. So throwing my right from the left side behind my head and catching it there. Now the right way to catch that is the same way like in this one. This is why this simple toss is an important prerequisite for that. Because as mentioned in the previous tutorial, when I catch it like that, all I have to do is get my hand to the position to where the poi is likely to go, and very likely that poi and the string will hit that hand right there. So if I toss the poi like here behind the head, and I just get my hand there, I don't even have to look. I just have to guess where the poi will be and get the hand there in the right position. So, I don't have to aim for a specific position, like if I'm tossing it like that. Well, I only have to get the hand to where it's probably gonna go, and the two axes meet. The poi is flying like that, and the hand is going like this. And since the string is quite long, I'm likely to, at some point, get my hand, which is quite long too, meet that string, and catch that poi. So for that, it's important to have the right angle of the string when the poi is passing behind my head and when I'm catching it. The right amount of rotation is about, so I'm throwing it when the poi is like here, it's like in this position here, and I'm catching it when it's exactly 180 degrees on the other side. So if I catch it, if I throw it from here, it's gonna go like into here, and this is when I'm catching it. Because if the poi is flying through here in this position, and my hand is going in this way, it is likely to meet that poi at some point, right? So like that. Hop. Hop. Oh, no. Yeah, like I said, this is the right angle where the poi should go. Then, those two axes will meet. It's okay to do it further also. I mean, the poi could be almost facing downwards, being in a vertical position. But then what would happen is that the poi would stop, which is another type of toss or kind of catch, like the cool one, like the one when you drop your poi to the pool. Like that. But like I mentioned in the previous tutorial, if you catch the poi in the moment when it's facing downwards, it's going to stop. When I do this, it stops. If I catch it like a little bit before when the poi is in this position, it will keep going. And the same applies in this case. So if I catch it here, it keeps going. If I catch it a little bit later, it's going to stop. Or, so now, how to do this cool combo, which makes you also practice both hands equally. So it's very beneficial. So I recommend just, trying the same thing with your left if you have been trying this with the right. If you were trying this, now take time to just try your left hand. So throwing from opposite side to the native side. So if you tried both hands separately, now let's put that together. So I'm starting like this, and I make a step with my right, which means I'm going to be throwing my right paw. I take my right paw, my right hand, sorry, and I bring it under and throw from there. If I manage to catch it here, I make a step forwards or step backwards, just to have my left hand in front. And now left hand does the same thing. So it's going to go under right, hop, catch, and repeat. So right under left, catch, with extra circle in between, just for the beginning, and left under right, catch. Right under left, catch. Left under right, catch. And then remove the extra circle. So this is getting exciting. Hop, hop. In the beginning, I recommend looking back just to, see where how the hand releases the paw. Helps you to understand where it's gonna go. Eventually, like what my goal is, or what my goal has been, is not looking there. So kind of throwing it like this, and just kind of feel emotion. So I'm stupid enough to throw my LED ball in the water one more time, and again it survives. That's a really big up for floaters who make undestroyable flow-like capsules that you can freely throw in the water. Do not try at home anyway, but that's great. So this should be somewhat safer. Okay, luckily there's no pond there. There's only a lot of poisonous snakes and spiders. All right, so now how to turn this into this, like with more rotation in between. Well, it's all about the amount of rotation of my body during the toss and about the initial position for the toss. So the way that I just demonstrated now was that you're standing like this and you're throwing it from here to there, and you're throwing it from under the hand. Now what you can do too is not throw it from under, but rather just simply from the front to up, while your left is on its native left side. So just like this. So this is what you should try as first. So as I toss my right paw, left hand goes in front, right up. So, and now what happens when you start, but not facing this way when you toss that? But what happens when you start like this? So that means now the right hand's gonna go there, and my left hand's gonna go there, but I have to turn all the way from here. So going like up, up. So now I am not standing like that anymore. I am standing like this, but still spinning in the same direction, and throwing my paw in front while turning to the right. So up, right. It really becomes more of a toss with a pirouette rather than just behind the back toss. The next step is not starting with the right hand on the right side, left in front, and throwing the right in front and going to the right with left, but I'm starting with my right in front, and now I'm going to throw it here in front, and I'm literally just going to turn 360. So I'm going to throw it up, and left goes under. So it's like I'm adding a step before what we have just did. So I'm throwing the paw up, my right hand up, and left goes down, and then continues to the right side. So like this. catching still in the same way. Yeah? So right in front and catching right in front again. So it is 360. Now you can play with the amount of extension. So it can be small, just like that. Or it can be big, like it can match the extended hand, my left hand. So you can start in extensions. You can try to throw your boy from extension, continue with the extension with that hand. Hop, hop. You can try to loop that. Small or big, small, big. So in this position, up, up. And you can do different types of footwork. You can go right first, turn like that, or you can turn like this. So up, or up, or in a movement like that. That's my favorite way. So going from one place to another. Up, up. Right, and the last variation in this very long tutorial is tossing from a cap. So you might have seen me doing this. That was very sloppy. Up. So this is the same thing, but the circle is not extended. The toss is not in extension or from extension, but it's rather small and it starts with a cap. So there's an interesting dynamics in throwing from a cap. The same way you were doing this toss, you can do the same toss with a cap. And the funny thing is that the cap kind of makes the poi stay on its space. It makes it stay on the place. If you wait too long, like has been mentioned before, the poi is going to stop, which is kind of cool. So you can do up into stop. If you want to keep it rotating, you just have to catch it a little bit before. So what I do and how I do this spirit, it's very similar to this, but I'm starting with the cap, and after that, left hand goes down. So prerequisite would be just up and left goes under, right, left goes under, and then I turn straight after that. So right goes in this cap, up, right goes in this cap, and then I turn. Now that was sloppy again. Up. Up. And since this goes from cap, I can, I can link it to some kind of anti-spinning tech move. So wherever I can do a cap, something like this. From some of these body tracing things. Up. You can do this also from opposite direction. So instead of this hand would go over. So I would go cap and turn, cap, turn, up, cap, turn. Also with left, cap, turn, cap, turn, cap, turn, cap. My favorite thing is doing it one by one. So I hope you enjoyed this in-depth tutorial. It's been rather long, but it has covered a great part of my favorite tosses, and all about these turns with no beat tosses that I do. If you have succeeded, like with this one, or like this one, or any of these, record it, put it on Patreon, or send it to me. I'd love you to do that. And have a